Celebrations around the world as Mahinda Rajapaksa loses the elections on January 8, 2015 in Sri Lanka. Oh, by the way, this is the year in review by YAMU TV. So this year, starting off in January, we had Mahinda Rajapaksa leaving temple trees, President Maithripala Sirisena installing a new Almira, and the Pope visiting Sri Lanka. In February, Sri Lanka makes good friends with India and the US again. Meanwhile, does really shit at the World Cup, and a Dutch honeymooner falls off World's End, only to be rescued later on. In March, we had a pretty boring month. China tried to pal up with us again, but we kind of shook it off like a bad case of fleas. Sri Lanka did do okay against England, but then lost against New Zealand. Kinda sad. And then, quite sad news, our president's brother died in an axe attack. And in April, Duminda Silva was freed from jail. He didn't remember why he was in there in the first place. Sri Lanka reached a record low in inflation of ego. And Maithripala Sirisena presented the 19th Amendment, and Basil Rajapaksa was arrested. And in May, Sri Lanka did pretty well, stopping the deforestation of Wilpattu, and in celebration of this, Monkey Kingdom was released worldwide, and people were quite excited to learn about the peoples of Sri Lanka. We also responded really well to the Nepal earthquake, so big pat on the back for that, Sri Lanka. And in June, Sri Lanka was very sad to see Kumar Sangakkara retire. But in positive news, well, no, actually it was pretty bad. We are still fighting with Indian fishermen, but we did join in on International Yoga Day. In July, India promised us a 96-story building to celebrate Sri Lankan cricket. Get it? 1996. It's like in the shape of two bales and a ball. But also Google did promise us Google Loon, which is like Wi-Fi or something. Next up, in August, Sri Lanka sought help to track down Mahinda Rajapaksa's assets. And in the meantime, Wasim Tajuddin's case was reopened, and there's been quite a bit of digging into that. But also, the general elections were held. People got really excited about that. September was a somber month. Our president visited the UN to talk about war crimes reconciliation. In the meantime, our new ministers were sworn in, and due to a rise in crime, we did discuss the death sentence. And in October, a massive space junk fell into the Indian Ocean, and no one got to see it because it was raining. In the meantime, an avant-garde ship was seized, and after an impressive 20-year streak of match fixing, Jayananda Warnavira was barred from all cricket stadiums. And in November, Sri Lanka arrested the Maldives bomb blast suspect. We did also step in to stop the stoning of one of our migrant workers in Saudi. Venerable Sobatatero passed away, and it was declared a national day of mourning as well as a national holiday. And in December, well, what do we have here? Doctors went on strike demanding car permits, claiming that cannot be taken away from them. Meanwhile, the Fitch ratings realized that Sri Lankans really like their alcohol, with demands not moving an inch despite prices skyrocketing. The budget was voted on, though there's been an increase in budget deniers. A lot of people don't believe it anymore. Electric Peacock Festival was a major hit amongst Colombo's hipsters, and most of Sri Lanka was really excited for Enrique Iglesias, so much so that a gigantic black brassiere was flung straight into his face, and he flung a sweet little kiss over to one of Colombo's little misses. Well, that's about as much time as we have for 2015. We'd give it a light 4, we're thinking. See you guys next year for YAMU's review of 2016, only 365 days away.